And today it's a day that has Tamil Nadu on top of all the page one stories, and the reason for it is with regard to the dismissal of the minister Senthilbalaji from the Council of Ministers in Tamil Nadu by the governor R.N. Ravi without in fact having any sort of consultation with the Council of Ministers or the Chief Minister Stalin. Now this has set out a complete kind of an uncharted territory when it came to the constitution, and it has become the prime focus today in most of the papers, and all of them have covered it at their top. Now I'm just going through the headlines that is there, and I said we in fact have a lot of other stories that are lined up for the day, but today we in fact start off with this big political development that has happened, because the story is something that for the first time we are looking at a complete fight, if I could put in a very layman term, between two positions in the executive, that is the governor, the chief minister, and how do they have powers on the Council of Ministers. Interestingly enough, there was a similar kind of a standoff in the neighboring state of Kerala itself, to which we will in fact speak later in the show as well. But interestingly, let's now take a look at some of those headlines that have been coming in from all newspapers on this. And we are going to start off with this. Of course, we have Rahul's day 2 tour in Manipur as well. That will come up later in the show. Again, when we do the show, we are just trying to say that we're just looking at how all the papers have covered up, so that you would be able to get a daily dose of what is exactly on the papers and what the top headlines is all about. Let me start off with the Indian Express. They have a very interesting headline when it comes to the entire Tamil Nadu political drama that is taking place. What it says is this: Tamil Nadu governor breaches new red line, sacks minister, order kept on hold after outrage. Now, this is what it says. After Chief Minister says will move court against order, late night message from Raj Bhavan will seek legal advice. Despite Supreme Court's caution on a governor's role, Ravi tests his limits. These are the two part of the stories that is there. But let me bring in the story as it had taken place last night. In an unprecedented move, Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi on Thursday evening dismissed Senthilbalaji from the Council of Ministers, further straining the relationship between Stalin-led DMK government and the Raj Bhavan. Balaji also was arrested on June 14th by the Enforcement Directorate for an alleged job scam in 2015. Is currently in judicial custody in a private hospital after having undergone a heart bypass surgery. Late Thursday night, a source in the Chief Minister's house said that the state government had received a communication from the Raj Bhavan that governor's dismissal order was on hold pending legal advice. Now, however, confirmation from the Raj Bhavan was in fact awaited on this matter. Giving reasons for dismissing Balaji with immediate effect, the Raj Bhavan said in a statement there are reasonable, I'll just continue from the pages it has in fact taken out to be, there are reasonable apprehensions that continuation of Senthilbalaji in the Council of Ministers will adversely impact the due process of law, including fair investigation that may eventually lead to breakdown of constitutional machinery in the state. Now, the governor's action prompted swift response from Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin. When asked about his dismissal, Stalin told the reporters very simply, he doesn't have those powers to dismiss the minister. We will face it legally. So this is a line of contention that has erupted overnight in what could become a defining moment in the political history of this country, where probably, if this goes to the court, the powers of the governor will be completely defined vis-a-vis to the powers of the Chief Minister and the Council of Ministers, and what is the role of the governor. These are the things that will be taken into consideration when this is going to happen. Now, let us in fact take a look at some of the other issues that have been raised. Well, the Indian Express was also explaining about this. Despite Supreme Court's caution on a governor's role, Ravi tests the limits. That is what is being written in the Indian Express. It says in its explained session as well that Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi's decision Thursday dismissing arrested minister Senthilbalaji tests the constitutional limitations on the role of the governor and pushes Raj Bhavan into uncharted political territory. Article 164(1), which is the article that defines the powers on this. This is what it states. Article 164(1) of the Constitution states that the Chief Minister shall be appointed by the Governor and other ministers shall be appointed by the Governor on the advice of the Chief Minister, and the ministers shall hold office during the pleasure of the Governor. Now, this is something that is open to interpretation, because this word that has been used, especially with regards to the minister holding office, like he shall hold that office during the pleasure of the Governor, basically to say that the Governor will have the idea to decide whether he should continue or not based on whether the Governor seems fit. This is what one interpretation of it is. Now I'll go to the further part on this. However, in line of a Supreme Court, now it's not that this particular portion of Article 164(1) has not been interpreted. This is how the Supreme Court is in fact speaking on it. However, a line of Supreme Court rulings have interpreted that the power of the Governor primarily flows from the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. In Shamsher Singh versus State of Punjab, 1974, ruling of a 7-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court said that a governor must exercise formal constitutional powers only upon and in accordance with the aid and advice of their ministers, save in a few well-known exceptional situations. These exceptions relate to dismissal of a government that has lost its majority, the decision to invite a party to form the government, both circumstances where the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers is unavailable or reliable. So the pleasure of the governor is understood to flow from the fact that the government enjoys majority on the floor of the House. Now, this is how we in fact see this. So, two things. What is 164(1)(a) that defines that it is the governor who appoints the chief minister, and on the advice of the chief minister, you appoint the council of ministers. But again, the Supreme Court interpreting it with riders, and especially in the case of Shamsher Singh versus State of Punjab in 1974 ruling. Now, this ruling was given by a 7-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court, and this is what it had in it. The most importantly, these exceptions relate to dismissal of a government that has lost its majority, the decision to invite a party to form the government, both circumstances where the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers are unavailable or unreliable. Basic to say that the governor can act upon his powers if the Council of Ministers is not present. Secondly, if that Council of Ministers does not enjoy the power of having a majority on that floor. So that is when these extraordinary powers of the governor comes into play. So right now it looks like the stage is set for a long drawn battle, a legal battle as well. But right now, with outrage coming in from the DMK and the entire battle on this being relegated to a wait and watch kind of a situation, especially on both the sides, that is from the Raj Bhavan as well as from the DMK alliance in Tamil Nadu. We are in fact trying to understand that how this situation is going to unfold, whether it would be brought to the court as the DMK had said, but then again a wait and watch situation in Tamil Nadu politics right now. That was in fact Senthilbalaji, who was taken to the hospital as he was arrested and by ED for corruption charges, especially when he was an AIA-DMK minister then, and he is said to have been involved in cash for jobs scam, especially when it came to the Metropolitan Transport Department, and he is said to have, or rather alleged, and to have been involved in it. And these accusations standing, there was an investigation that was being carried out, and during a midnight arrest that took place, Senthilbalaji was later shifted to the hospital as he complained about chest pain, and later a bypass surgery was conducted on Senthilbalaji. Well, so this is how the situation has been unfolding, and this is how we have the governor's limits being spoken about when it comes to the Indian Express. Now, let me take to the paper from Chennai itself, and that is the Hindu. Now, what does the Hindu say? The Hindu's headline reads like this: TN governor, in quotes, dismisses minister, backtracks later. Now, Ravi communicates to CM's office that his order on Senthilbalaji has been put on hold with immediate effect. Stalin had earlier said that the governor did not have authority to dismiss the minister. In an unprecedented move, Tamil Nadu Governor Ravi on Thursday evening unilaterally dismissed with immediate effect arrested Minister Senthilbalaji from the Council of Ministers only to hurriedly backtrack. Now, sources in the Chief Minister's office, the Stalin's office, this is what they have been able to say on this matter. This is what they said, that Mr. Ravi had communicated that his order dismissing Mr. Senthilbalaji was being put on hold with immediate effect. The governor said that his decision was kept in abeyance. A source privy to the development said, earlier Mr. Stalin told journalists that the governor does not have the authority to dismiss a minister. We will face this legally. In fact, we have that bite when Stalin, in fact, it goes to the press, and immediately the only question, of course, all of them having is that how would you go ahead and, face this kind of a situation that you are facing. So this is the immediate response that he had. Let's listen to it in Tamil. I will translate to you once it is put on air.
அவருக்கு அந்த அதிகாரம் கிடையாது. நான் சட்ட ரீதியாக நாங்கள் சந்திப்போம்.
Well, the BJP meanwhile was reacting to it. We had a BJP leader from Tamil Nadu, Narayan Tirupati, reacting to it. Let's listen to that also.
He has got every right to dismiss because he appoints the ministers. Mr. Senthilbalaji was appointed by the governor and he is dismissed. He has given the reasons as to why he was dismissed. In spite of the Supreme Court's order, judgment, the government has not constituted the team, special investigation team, which was ordered by the Supreme Court. And definitely the governor, morally, legally, has taken a right decision and he has dismissed Mr. Senthilbalaji. People may say that you don't have any precedents. Let everyone keep this as a precedent. Nothing wrong. Mr. Stalin says that he will go to the court. Yes, you have the right to go to court. No problem. Please go. It will be discussed. Mr. Ravi definitely would have consulted everyone. He knows law, definitely, no problem at all. But whatever happened is for good.
With those explanations regarding as to why this has happened and what is the reason why this has happened. And right now, let me in fact tell you a little bit of this story that is there in the background. See, when it comes to Tamil Nadu, please, we have to in fact understand from the concept of why this has been going on. There have been several instances when the Chief Minister Stalin as well as Governor Ravi has had run-ins. So when the run-ins have been happening between them, there have been on several issues, especially when it comes to Tamil Nadu should be called Tamilnadu, and then we had the issues about how Hindi imposition was spoken about when Raj Bhavan had sent an invite in Hindi and not in Tamil. All these issues have been focusing, and Ravi has also been speaking about the fact that there was no independent idea of a culture. It was later that was in fact built, and that the whole of India had a culture as such, and that Tamil culture was a very prominent culture among Indian culture. So all those aspects of division has been growing between them. Also, this is the latest flashpoint that is coming. Who is Senthilbalaji? Senthilbalaji is a very important leader for the DMK from the Coimbatore region, or Konganad region as we would call it. And there the AIDMK was having a kind of a stranglehold where the BJP is now also trying to grow in that region as well. When it comes to Senthilbalaji, he is considered to be the man who has been able to influence the electoral outcomes in this region. That had facilitated the DMK rather to ensure it got a huge majority in the last assembly elections from this region. It has been a very important what I would call as a very important ability of the party to get Senthilbalaji on its side. Especially he had served as an DMK minister, and that had been paid with the political acumen that the seats in that region would increase, and it did increase in the last assembly elections. So the DMK's explanation has been this: Senthilbalaji is being targeted. And why? What is the kind of explanation they are giving with regard to Senthilbalaji? Senthilbalaji, they are saying that Senthilbalaji is the person who has moved away from getting any sort of influence from the BJP, has been able to keep BJP in check, politically delivered. It is an attempt to ensure that there is a DMK ahead of the 2024 elections. So this is what in fact, the DMK has explained, while the BJP says that it is the course of law. Because corruption within the DMK, however, has dismissed those series on the DMK files, and he said, and the BJP is saying that this is just the course of law that is going ahead, and therefore Senthilbalaji's arrest has nothing to do with politics. It is about a corrupt minister facing the music. Now that is the argument from the side of the BJP. So right now, this division that has happened between the governor as well as the chief minister and the council of ministers is something that has become the point of contention completely in this. My colleague Pankaj, in fact, joins us right now. Pankaj, of course, a big day in Tamil Nadu when we speak about the kind of constitutional crisis that has been precipitated. Most of the papers have it on their front pages, all of them trying to give an explanation about 164(1), what it means, then the Supreme Court trying to interpret that powers as well in a way. But here the BJP said that, it is within the rights of the governor to take this decision. But it clearly says, the Supreme Court clearly says that only if a council of ministers is not there to aid and advise the governor, or does not enjoy the majority of the floor on the house, then the governor can go use some of these extraordinary powers. So it is tempered with the fact that it will be an advised action that has to be taken. Here we see that it was not an advised action taken, or let's see how the constitutional experts will interpret it as that. But this is just one of the run-ins that are there. There have been several, points of clashes that have happened between the DMK and Governor Ravi. So this being the latest, do you think it's time that the powers of the governor is clearly defined right now, and that of the council of ministers as well? Because this issue is not here. The governor versus the government, state government issue is taking place in its neighboring Kerala. We have issues in Telangana as well, and so most of these states have highly opposed opposition parties ruling them, and they are highly opposed to the central BJP. So politically also, it seems that this issue is precipitated.
Well, definitely, Varghese. See, we have been seeing this tussle between Ravi and DMK's leader and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin for quite some time now. And as you mentioned about the language row, the letter being written in Hindi and all those things. This is something which is not new as of now, but yes, Ravi exercising his quote-unquote powers and dismissing a minister who is in the Council of Ministers of Stalin, a minister without portfolio. That is something which has come as a shocker, and obviously the DMK would, fight it tooth and nail. Having said that, what do the constitutional powers suggest? That you have also mentioned that the Council of Ministers, the governor basically gives administers oath to the chief minister, and then the governor appoints the ministers on the advice of the chief minister. Removing them from the Council of Ministers doesn't come under the ambit of the governor. And once this decision came last evening, Varghese, a few hours down the line, it was removed also, and it was said that the governor's office would consult the Solicitor General and then proceed on this regard. Politically, yes, both the parties, BJP and the DMK, why I say BJP, because obviously the governor is the representative of the government there. And the tussle has been ongoing for quite some time now. And Arun Ravi has also not minced his words when it comes to expressing his discontent and anger with the current dispensation. What has happened also is critical here. And V. Senthil Rajan, obviously, who is facing a barrage of charges and is under ED's custody as of now, had to go bypass surgery. That's why he is in a hospital. 16th of June, he had faced raids and subsequently he was arrested in an overnight swoop. And that way, the governor at that time, when the chief minister had written to the governor, R.N. Ravi, that since he holds two portfolios, so two new ministers should be appointed. So Governor Ravi ratified that. He gave his assent to it. But soon after, a day after his arrest, also, Governor Ravi wanted to remove him from the Council of Ministers, to which the Chief Minister had written to the governor that he doesn't have those rights. But lo and behold, what we had last evening, obviously, Governor Ravi testing the constitutional waters in a way. And now, as most of the newspapers, Varghese, have taken it on the front page, we were expecting that Rahul Gandhi's Manipur trip and the subsequent stopping of his convoy, then the road and flight fiasco, all those things happening. He is still there in Manipur. That would be the front page headlines. That is there on most of the dailies, but has been nudged aside by this particular late evening development. And yes, we will have to wait and watch what the government suggests, what the Solicitor General's advice is to Governor R.N. Ravi, and then only a very vehement and firebrand, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, mkstalin, who has been fighting it out tooth and nail against the governor. We'll have to see how does it pan out.
Well, let me just play that bite once again so that our viewers could, in fact, see that anger in which the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu goes ahead and speaks about this. It is a very powerful statement that he, in fact, makes there, saying that looks like he seems to be ready for a long legal battle on this. When the news was, in fact, announced that there was an order that was sent for Senthilbalaji's dismissal. By the way, Senthilbalaji is still in the Council of Ministers and he's a minister without a portfolio. So let us now, in fact, listen to that bite. It's in Tamil. We will translate it immediately for you.
அவருக்கு அந்த அதிகாரம் கிடையாது. சட்ட ரீதியாக நாங்கள் சந்திப்போம்.
That was a very simple one-line statement. It says that avarka adhigaram kedayadu, which means to say he has no authority. I will face this issue based on law, and we will probably hinting at that legal battle. Well, the Times of India has also gone ahead and covered it. It's given the statements and the kind of run-ins that I've been talking about. The Times of India has also mentioned it like this: Tamil Nadu governor dismisses minister, hits pause after outrage. This is this headline that they have put it out, and it says, says Home Minister asks him to seek AG's opinion. Now, this is an interesting development that's happened over here. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi dismissed Minister V. Senthilbalaji from the Council of Ministers with effect, immediate effect. And of course, we know that mkstalin had raised the issue as well. Now, it is being said that the order has been kept in abeyance. Now, why the order has been kept in abeyance? Because this is what the story says. It has been kept in abeyance because Union Home Minister has asked me to speak and to seek AG's opinion. So this is what government and Raj Bhavan sources have quoted and spoken about it. And Ravi is saying that he is in communication with the Chief Minister on this matter. And some of the small graphics elements that they have put are actually quotes. One with mkstalin saying, Minister V. Senthilbalaji is facing serious criminal proceedings in a number of cases of corruption, including taking cash for jobs and money laundering. Under these circumstances, governor has dismissed him with immediate effect. This was an earlier statement that was coming in from Raj Bhavan. Governor doesn't have the right to dismiss a minister. We will face this legally, as the term that we had, in fact, said. And they've also given an interesting tidbit about who Senthilbalaji is. DMK Minister Senthilbalaji was arrested on June 14th in a cash for jobs case. He was detained as minister without portfolio. On May 31st, Governor R.N. Ravi wrote to CM asking him to drop Balaji. Stalin replied that CM alone had the power to decide. So Ravi also initially returned the file on reallocation of Balaji's portfolio. So this has been going to and fro when it comes to this, Pankaj. It is not that suddenly this decision was taken. There was already a recommendation that was in fact sent saying that he has to be dropped from the cabinet, and Stalin says that it is up to the chief minister to decide whether the minister should remain in the cabinet or in the council of ministers or not. And the second time, even the reallocation portfolio, the files when it was said, he had returned it back. So this has been going on. There's been a to and fro from the CMO as well as Raj Bhavan on this matter. Yesterday's decision was probably when, this pent up shadow boxing just erupted.
Well, yes, speaking about, personality clashes, this is a classic example because Arun Ravi, as we have known him, I guess, since last year too, it has been, just wait for a moment.
Well, meanwhile, the Times of India has also spoken to experts, and they have given an opinion as well, just like how the Indian Express has done. What the legal experts whom the Times of India has consulted are saying like this: sacking would have failed legal scrutiny is what the experts are saying. Lawyers cutting across political persuasions called Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi's now stalled move to sack DMK Minister Senthilbalaji unconstitutional, high-handed and unprecedented, as it would have failed SC scrutiny. That is what reports have coming in from. They pointed out that the Supreme Court's right from its judgment in S.R. Bommai case to Shivraj Singh Chauhan in 2020 1994 cases have categorically ruled that the governor cannot act on administrative matters relating to the state without the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers headed by the Chief Minister. So whatever decision the governor is supposed to take, well, it depends upon the Council of Ministers and the state, the state government itself. So the governor cannot independently act on any of the cases, even to the point of sacking a minister in this case. Well, that is what is happening in Tamil Nadu. Let's go to the other big story of the day, and that is Rahul Gandhi's visit continues in Manipur. Well, Rahul Gandhi was in fact stopped in Manipur during his, when he was trying to reach out to the relief camps by road, but then he had to take a chopper and he had moved in. Rahul Gandhi, in fact, also is saying that there is a story coming in that bad weather has forced him to curtail his trip as well. The Congress leader Rahul Gandhi arrived in restive Manipur on Thursday to a montage of drama, confrontation and political bickering, police barricading and highway at Bishnupur to keep him from travelling by road to Chuchandpur, women activists taking them on in a bid to clear the way for the convoy, and sprinkling of protesters showing placards asking him to go back. Rahul took a chopper to Chuchandpur after the standoff in Bishnupur involving the throng of women questioning if the administration had anything to hide. Police used tear gas to disperse others protesting against the ex-MP's visit. A member of the security contingent suffered a splinter injury in the melee. Inclement weather ultimately curtailed Rahul's trip is what is being said. Meanwhile, another little shocking is fact that there has been a continuation of the violence. 2 people have been killed. Cops chase away a mob near the CM's house. This is another big development when it comes to Manipur. Violence returned to Manipur on Thursday, leaving at least 2 people dead as many wounded after a dawn attack involving assailants described by the army as armed rioters on a village in Imphal West and border invited retaliation by forces. The villagers mobilized themselves to fight off the attack, even as Assam Rifles unit battled the intruders who came with automatic weapons. So this is a set of violence that has also happened, and 2 people have been killed. Meanwhile, the reports also coming in that the chief minister's house was in fact targeted by a mob, and the police have been successfully able to chase them away. We have seen several instances in which the houses of politicians have also been attacked as well. Well, there's a small picture about Rahul Gandhi, in fact, at the relief camp. It is present on the page in Times of India as well. We'll just show you this small picture where he is interacting with the children at the relief camp. This is the picture that you can see. This is the picture that we were speaking about, where he's interacting with the children at the relief camp over there. Similarly, there are several other newspapers that have also covered this incident as such, and we have Rahul Gandhi being mentioned especially with regard to his visit. Now, the picture that is there in here when it comes to the Indian Express on the visit, the coverage that they have given also similarly about him using a chopper when it comes to this. Manipur needs healing, stopped by police on road. Rahul takes chopper from Imphal. Well, this is the moment when the police had stopped him, and that picture coming out of here. Rahul Gandhi's convoy heading to Chuchandpur was stopped by the police in Bishnupur district on Thursday. So this is the picture that in fact shows him being stopped, his convoy being stopped from going ahead. And of course the story about him being in Manipur and talking about Manipur needing a healing touch on this. So this is the story that is coming in with regard to the Indian Express. And of course Indian Express also speaking about fresh violence and 2 more deaths that have been reported in the air in Manipur. Again, quite shocking enough. But day 2, of course, again being curtailed by inclement weather is what we understand. And let us in fact see how the others have also. I've given you the Indian Express and also the Hindu. Meanwhile, I'm taking the Hindu right now. The Times of India is what we are. Yes, this is another picture that is coming in. Every one of them covering it with pictures, especially this is the picture that's come in the Hindu, and this is again Rahul Gandhi being given that space over there. Let's take a closer look. I'll ask the cameraman to just pan it. Rahul flies to riot hit Manipur district after police block road, and of course we have a woman who is crying and is being consoled by Rahul Gandhi, and that's the picture that is there. We have KC Venugopal also at the site, and Rahul Gandhi was trying to console the people in the relief camps and to meeting with the people there on this. So clearly at the moment this is how they have in fact go ahead and covered on this, especially what is happening with regard to Manipur. After being stopped from travelling by road allegedly, the orders of Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi took the aerial route to violence-hit Manipur, Chuchandpur and Kuki-dominated district on Thursday afternoon. He visited 2 Kuki relief camps, one in Tuibulong and the other in Hyangtam, and interacted with the victims and leaders of civil society organizations after reaching his destination by a chopper from Imphal. This is what he has said. I came to Manipur to listen to and understand what has happened and try and bring back peace. Meanwhile, the other part of it is that 2 killed in a gunfight as fresh violence in fact breaks out in Manipur. That is also being covered in the newspapers as well. It's there in page 13 in Hindu. They have in fact given an elaborate report on what is happening. Meanwhile, there is an interesting story that has been taken up from Kerala, especially when it comes to the issue about Manipur. We have one story that is taken by the Hindu, and I'll just show you that story as well. We have been doing several reports about whether the BJP's efforts in Kerala to reach out to the Christian community, has it been hit because of the violence in Manipur? Well, this in fact speaks to it. Let me in fact get a closer look at that article so that you would in fact see that article as well. Kerala Christian body calls for central rule in violence hit Manipur, and that is Thalassery Archbishop. His name is Mar Joseph Pamplani. Now, Pamplani is a very important person when it comes to this. I'll explain to you why is it so. Now, center and state governments criticized for failing to bring peace and order. Metropolitan Archbishop of Thalassery Archdiocese likens violence in the state to the 2002 Gujarat riots. Now, that is the big story that we are in fact tracking right now over here. This story is from Kerala as well, and how Manipur is affecting Kerala, and that is something that needs a little bit of explanation right now, because the BJP has been over the years meticulously, for almost 20 to 25 years, has been meticulously trying to reach out to the Christian community in Kerala because of the kind of political demographics that is there in the state. It has in the last 5 years upped the meetings with several church leaders. In fact, the Prime Minister also had come down during his visit to Kochi and met with the top church leaders in Kerala. Bishop Pamplani, as I was saying, Joseph Pamplani, who is the Metropolitan for Talashiri Archdiocese, had given a kind of statements that favor the BJP. He said that if the prices of rubber were increased, we know to whom to vote. If you have a pain that you don't have an MP from Kerala, then we will vote for you. This is the kind of statements that we had seen Mar Joseph Pamplani make, and it was being said that the church was in fact softening its stance. There were two groups within the church that said they were against it, and some were saying they were for it. Now, this particular outreach program that the BJP has been carried has taken a hit, because right now a lot of church leaders in Kerala are coming out and saying this. And Pamplani's statement is huge, because he, while making that statement to local channel in Kerala, has compared the violence in Manipur to that of 2002 Gujarat riots. That is what the Hindu has in fact reported on this. So those who want to in fact take a look at that story can go ahead and take a look at that story of how Manipur is also affecting Kerala. We are in fact joined in by Pankaj as well. Pankaj, we have been carrying out so many stories about how the influence of one state, whatever happens in one state, influences events in another state. Now, it looks like, especially now with statements coming in from a very influential priest and bishop like Mar Joseph Pamplani, that when it comes to the carefully articulated option of trying to woo the Christians in Kerala, it has suffered because of Manipur.
All the indications that the implications of Manipur unrest have found their resonance in Kerala as well. Given the fact that the sizable Christian community in both the states have found a common thread as far as this quote-unquote ill treatment is concerned. And we have seen earlier also the reactions, the responses coming in from Kerala, the delegation that has visited there, the Christian body also expressing their dissent and asking the government to intervene. All those things have been there. The question is whether BJP's Christian outreach mission that it is running as of now. We saw the glimpses earlier during last Christmas as well, when in Kerala the BJP cadres went to the Christian communities' houses and they distributed gifts. And so they did during Eid as well for the Muslim community. Now, that particular outreach, whether it has received a blowback or not, remains to be seen. BJP obviously is going into a huddle on 3rd of July for its all-important meeting, and from there on, the last leg of the preparations for 2024 elections would begin. I'm sure this particular concern will also come up, that how best to tackle the situation and not lose on the ground that it has achieved over the years as far as the Christian community across the country is concerned, not just down south in Kerala or in the northeastern part of the country. Having said that, the situation as of now in Manipur, as you mentioned, and as the bottom stripes also say, that Rahul's Manipur visit has actually created a lot of buzz, first of all, and secondly, the newspapers have equally treated it, given it equal treatment. And now, with Rahul Gandhi's second day in Manipur today, it remains to be seen whether he is allowed to go to one of the places which was in his itinerary slated for yesterday, because yesterday we saw the scuffle and the brouhaha over his road travel, and then he had to take a chopper. All those things were in place. For the BJP, obviously, the treatment and the handling of this particular situation for the state government couldn't have gone worse than this. Yes, the security forces, in a measured approach, said that there is a risk of the safety for Rahul Gandhi because there were protests in that area. But stopping him at Bishnupur, just 20 to 30 kilometers from Imphal airport, was something that politically would be seen as one of the steps to actually stop him from the communion with the masses. The people, there were mixed voices. Some said Rahul, go back. We saw some placards being held there. Some said that Rahul should be allowed to come and meet with them because there's no one who has come to meet them. So politically, it's a tightrope walk that the government had to do there. What remains to be seen now is how does the day pan out today. We will be bringing you the coverage from 11 a.m. onwards on Rahul Gandhi's visit to Manipur. That is becoming a hot potato for sure because the way the visuals came yesterday, the way protests happened, tear gas shells had to be fired, all in a day's work. It looks like that one Rahul Gandhi's visit to Manipur, the restive Manipur, as has been mentioned in many media reports, could be a tough nut to crack for the state government and security forces there.
Well, Pankaj, well, let's move out from Manipur, and there's been a big decision by the U.S. Supreme Court, and that is what is in fact there in most of the online headlines that we are looking at. The decision is that the U.S. Supreme Court has decided to strike down race-based quotas. Now, the fight against race-based quotas has been going on for quite some time. Many of them have been saying that it is a blow to affirmative action that is something that was part of the US system to ensure that Afro-Americans are also integrated within the system. Not only Afro-Americans, other students are also integrated into the system. So when it comes to the college admissions, they have decided to ensure that it's a level playing field, as they claim, because they say that no student should gain admission through ethnicities. Now, this is the second such decision that has come from a conservative group of judges in the US Supreme Court, the last one being the overturning of the abortion rights. So, many of them have called it the setbacks to liberals. Many of them are saying that this in fact shows that the US Supreme Court is now technically dominated by conservatives and is completely dominated by the conservatives in this case. So a lot of questions being asked about what will be the future of this affirmative action that was supposed to be the cases of a lot of issues when it came to race relations in the United States. Now, this is what we have the media house, in fact, bringing out an article on it, especially on the online portal. The NDTV's online portal has put up that article. It says, U.S. Supreme Court bans use of race ethnicity in university admissions. The justices broke 6-3 the justices broke 6-3 along conservative liberal lines in the decision, which came after years of conservative antipathy to affirmative action policies. Now, 1 year after overturning the guarantee of women's rights to have an abortion, the court's conservative majority again demonstrated its readiness to scrap liberal policies set in law since 1960. So this is a history of how these policies are being overturned, and these policies come from 1960s onwards. And from 1960s onwards, especially when it comes to affirmative action, we know how race relations in the 1960s were in the United States, people asking for equality, and some of these policies had been born out of those those kind of movements that happened in the United States, and this is seen as a big shock to a lot of people as well. Pankaj, when it comes to affirmative action, of course, the United States was talking about, positive discrimination. It was talking about how to integrate its various ethnic minorities based on race, religion, and even linguistics to an extent. But then this conservative demand, it shows that the overturning of possible policies, liberal policies that came from 1960s onwards, some that were taken to be granted by a lot of liberals as well. Two big decisions, one on abortion rights and now on this. It looks like the conservative judges are technically overturning a lot of liberal policies one by one.
Well, absolutely, Varghese, and on expected lines, the first person to have responded to this Supreme Court ruling was the first citizen of the United States, President Joe Biden. He has strongly disagreed with the Supreme Court's ruling banning the use of race and ethnicity in university admission policies. For the benefit of our viewers, what it means is that kind of quota system that we have, the kind of bifurcation into the admission percentages that we have in our universities, that has been done away with or will be done away with. That's what the recommendation of the Supreme Court is. It says that based on the race, ethnicity, caste and creed, the admission criteria should get over. All of them should be in general category, as simply put as that. Now, that practice is against affirmative action. What is affirmative action? It's called doubling in common parlance. It means to bring the traditionally marginalized community, in the case of United States, is the African American community, the black community, as they call them. To bring them into the mainstream, they were given certain benefits. They were given certain avenues where they can actually be treated at par with certain advantage, with certain heads up, with the rest of the people, with the rest of the candidates. So this affirmative action does not only apply in universities, it applies in jobs, it applies in hospitals, it applies in service sectors, it applies in government aided schools. All those things, the double A comes into picture. In higher education, this particular decision is somewhat is not going to go down well with Joe Biden. And as you rightly mentioned, the conservative judges are, in a way, this is the second big move that has come after the abortion rights issue. Looks like the winds of change obviously are sweeping across the United States, but this particular move, Varghese, is surely what Joe Biden also said, that the ruling basically walks away from decades of precedent, as he mentioned, adding universities should not abandon their commitment to create diverse student bodies. So Joe Biden, obviously, on expected lines, is not happy, and when he was asked about the decision with the conservative-dominated panel, Biden took a lengthy pause before finally saying that this is not a normal code. So this is how the dissent has been so far in United States against this U.S. decision.
Well, Pankaj, let's in fact come closer home. Probable discussions are going on whether there could be a cabinet rejig just ahead of 2024. Again, it is one of the top trending headlines online. The Print has in fact put it out saying that BJP organizational reboot, cabinet reshuffle on cards. What's behind top rung's flurry of meetings? So there's been a series of meetings that have been happening with the BJP top rungs, and it is being speculated that this could be for a complete rejig or cabinet reshuffle just before the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. And one reason that the Print has speculated, of course, is to get a brainstorming session in places to make likely changes in party organization as well as the government. And Modi has not reshuffled his cabinet since July 2021. And the reason for it is they are trying to get the caste numbers correctly in the cabinet, is what one speculation has been put into place. At the meeting, the party's leadership has also discussed strategies of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. And BL Santosh met the Prime Minister Modi at his Delhi residence for 5-hour brainstorming sessions on likely changes in party organization and government. Modi has, in fact, I said, did not reshuffle the cabinet since July 2021. So, Pankaj, on this story, when we look at just ahead of 2024, getting the caste arithmetic right, giving chances to all those communities so that they can go as a united group when it comes to the campaign on the ground, getting all those who think that they have not been accommodated in the cabinet, giving a face to it. Of course, from 2021, there's not been any major sort of rejig within the cabinet. But again, this speculation is bust because of this huge meetings that are happening with Prime Minister Modi as well as the BJP's top leadership.
Right, Varghese. So Sunday could be a hectic Sunday as far as this dispensation is concerned. Possibly some cabinet rejig. Why? Because on Monday, which is July 3rd, there is a meeting which many newspapers have given prominence to, but not exactly in the regards of a cabinet reshuffle on the cards, but towards the planning and preparation for the 2024 elections. It is being touted as one final push and for before the elections kick in 2024. And obviously, from all the nooks and crannies of the country, the members would be, converging for this meeting, and on separate dates, on 3rd of July, on 8th of July, and then later on, block-wise, there are meetings, one in Hyderabad, one in Delhi, all that way in order to chalk out all the nitty-gritties of the election preparations. Coming back to the cabinet reshuffle, yes, you're right. Not much changes we have seen in bulk happening in the BJP government as of now, only barring a few that we saw Arjun Meghwal becoming the law minister with Kiren Rijiju making an exit, and a few changes here and there. So yes, if that be the case, then obviously closer to the elections, for a fair representation of a particular community, of a particular member who has won election for you, it makes only political sense to give them also the opportunity in the last leg of this ruling, because we are in July already, and in a month, in a year's time, we will have a new government.
Well, thank you, Pankaj, for in fact joining us. And before we in fact leave you, one small news that could be a cause of concern. The Tribune has covered it as well. It says WHO set to declare sweetener in diet sodas drinks as carcinogenic. Again, I'll read it out. WHO set to declare sweetener in diet sodas drinks as carcinogenic. The reason for this is, or cancer causing, basically, these sweeteners are. Aspartame declared safe in the past. It's being said that aspartame used in products like Coca-Cola diet sodas, Mars extra chewing gum, Snapple drinks. Well, this is that particular product that is said to be carcinogenic, and this carcinogenic act is based on a research that was conducted on by WHO with regard to cancer. And so just be careful with that Diet Coke and those fake sweeteners that are there in the market, because WHO sees that aspartame could be cancer causing as such. With that, it's a wrap on our discussion on all the probable big stories that we have taken from the newspapers. There is more onto it. Read your daily news on the newspapers, which gives you a complete coverage on all the matters that are there to be known in the world as well as the country. But with that, it is a wrap from my side. Stay tuned for News9 programs on the other side.
इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं.
Coaching is now starting from grade 3, 4, 5, 6.
होता जाने वाली बीच राह में आधे टेस्ट देके हैं सिलेक्शन